Alright guys, today I'm making a very different video talking about why I am playing vanilla World of Warcraft yet again. And just to clarify guys, this does not mean that I've quit Wrath of the Lich King or anything like that, because for some reason people automatically think that when a World of Warcraft YouTuber or Twitch streamer plays any game other than World of Warcraft.
You hear that?
Oh, and I'm playing vanilla World of Warcraft on Classic Era Realms, of course. Now, honestly, I just ran into this to mess around and play the launch day of this community project, but what I quickly found is the more
community projects are private servers.
I'm playing vanilla World of Warcraft again, very strangely, I'm becoming more and more addicted to it. Which, if it doesn't make sense to you, then don't worry, because it barely even makes sense to me. I've been moaning about some of the limitations and problems of vanilla World of Warcraft. You know, big one being there being no dual spec, for instance. But despite all the problems,
of course he's having fun. He's playing a hunter.
Vanilla WoW has, for some reason, I'm just enjoying it. I think there's certain aspects of vanilla that Wrath of the Lich King Classic simply does not have. You know,
I think also, like, everybody likes the fresh experience. You know, new server comes out, everybody's like, oh, fuck yeah, this is awesome, we're all playing together, everybody's leveling together, like, it's all happening. And then everybody hits 60, and then the Molten Core grind starts up, and then people lose interest. Fresh to death.
Don't get me wrong, Wrath of the Lich King is a good game. It's pretty much the peak of World of Warcraft when it comes to the raiding scene, and there's loads of great extra features like more classes being viable, multiple raid difficulties, and the leveling is much faster, but what it really doesn't have is world content outside of leveling your character.
World content outside of leveling your character, I do think that vanilla probably is best in slot for this. Yeah, I would agree with this.
And this is where I think vanilla excels over any other expansion. The world of World of Warcraft is much more alive, because it's designed in a way to keep the world as relevant, challenging, and interesting content. By the way, guys,
I don't necessarily think that's entirely true. I think that the reason why the world is relevant is because of world buffs. If you took world buffs out of WoW, out of raids, I bet the world would become a lot less relevant really fast. That's the biggest reason.
If you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel. My subscriber only video, I've got this really great gold making guide, how you can flip about 500 gold per day in about 20 minutes. It's really, really easy. We've also got...
Yeah, the way you do that is you go to a website called G2G, you flip your $20 and then you flip it into 500 gold. That's how it works. A little spoiler there.
A really good alt leveling guide for you to check out.
Any GDKP
So I've spent over 30 hours playing my new hunter, and most of that has been spent in huge raid PvP battles in Westfall. Because the Horde for some reason thought it would be a good idea to grief the Alliance at Deadmines by preventing us from going inside of the instance and constantly killing the escort quest for the Defias traitor. And this has caused absolute chaos and deep faction rivalry on my server. The amount of drama that has stemmed from this situation is absolutely insane.
Oh yeah.
The guy who organised these griefing events has actually been banned and apparently had a mental breakdown and his guild disbanded.
It's classic WoW. Yep. It's about right. I'd expect that.
But despite all that, the whole event has been extremely fun. You know, as irritating as it was to get that escort quest griefed multiple times in a row, I joined a raid that made a counter-griefing group to get some payback by fighting back the Horde and getting them out of Westfall, but then we journeyed around all of the major Horde locations, ganking people in the open world and preventing people from doing group quests and even basic quests, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think all that stuff is really fun. I remember whenever they added cross-realm zones and, like, you know, they had cross-realm in WoW for the first time. We did this all the time. It was so fun. It was actually, like, some of the most fun I ever had in WoW. But the problem is that, like, it's fun for, like, a small period of time, and then it becomes not fun. And then that's, like, what the whole game is. It's like, this is fun for a week, or it's fun for a month, and then it's not fun anymore. Oh, yeah, the dark portal. Yeah. You remember people would spawn at the dark portal and they'd get death gripped like 6 times, then die? Oh my god, that was me.
It was basically a big payback raid, and we actually totally dominated the Stone Talon Mountains area and prevented anyone from questing in the zone for quite a while.
I do think that, like, vanilla WoW's world building is superior to pretty much all other expansions. Like, the world building and the amount of travel that the player does around the world in Classic WoW is superior to pretty much every other expansion.
Also forgot to mention that as part of our counterattack to reclaim dead mines, someone went all the way to Duskwood to pull Stitches, and then Stitches started one-shotting and totally owning the Horde in dead mines. And then we finally actually got dead mines back under Alliance control. And this kind of stuff can only happen in a world-driven MMO, not an endgame focus.
Do you remember whenever we did this same shit, and it was like Sony and like all the Horde boys, and then we were trying to bring Tiramis the Devourer over to the other city? Back in the Classic WoW beta?
Focused MMO.
Yeah, that shit was fun.
Because obviously Wrath of the Lich King has turned into that. I mean, it turned into that in TBC, to be honest. But this is something that Vanilla doesn't have. And the point I'm trying to make is Vanilla is more of an MMO than the following expansions ever will be. The world is a thriving and social environment. You don't just log on and raid log and then log out for a week like you do on retail and...
I feel like this guy, I mean, like, to say something like that, I feel like this is rose-tinted glasses. Because I remember this is exactly what we did. People got their world buffs and they logged out for the whole week. That was the whole problem with world buffs in the first place.
Classic. And to be honest, this element is kind of killed off once everyone has got to max level in Classic WoW.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, sure. Before max level, yes, he's right about this. Okay.
However, in Classic, there were incentives to go back into the open world. Like, for instance, world buffs and the AQ opening event.
Which, by the way, everybody hated world buffs. It's important to keep that in mind.
In Vanilla, there's always going to be world PvP situations for a big part of the leveling experience, as the Horde and the Alliance quests are in the same areas, round about the ballpark of, well, over level 20. And there's even endgame open world content like world bosses, which, again, we had a little bit of world boss action in TBC, but it's just totally gone by the time Wrath of the Lich King turns up. Whether guilds fight over world boss kills or organise a router for world boss kills...
This mage has no fucking idea what he's doing. Like, this rogue should have been dead like 30 seconds ago.
The point is, the whole process involved...
he stood too close for blind, and it's like the GCDs, it's like every GCD is like 3 seconds. Like he didn't do a rank 1 frostbolt there. Like, what's going on here? Like, that arcane explosion. Like, what's this? Come on, you better not lose this.
Players from the server interacting with each other. Whereas in Classic, on a majority, you only socialise with your guild. You don't really interact with other people on your server. So it's almost like the other guilds on your server may as well not exist by the point of Wrath of the Lich King Classic. Because your social bubble in Wrath becomes smaller than it did in Vanilla.
I do think that, like, GDKPs and like pug culture did stem some of this, and it made it better.
I know that people who played Vanilla were actually friends with people on the opposite faction, because again, like organising world boss kills and stuff like that. I know people cringe.
Organizing world boss kills. Most importantly, reporting everybody on that's not part of the coalition talking in general chat at the same time to get them automatically silenced and suspended from the game. That's right. That's the good shit. Oh, yeah.
The word social. Like, when I say social, I'm not saying, oh, you join a dungeon group and you make friends of them and, you know, they become your best man at your wedding or something. I'm not talking about that. And I'm not talking about, oh, Vanilla makes you make friends. And then people will be like, oh, well, why on earth do I want to make friends? I've already got friends in my guild or whatever. It's the fact that the social experiences exist. I'm not saying every social experience has to turn into some kind of online friendship. I just personally find these social elements of gameplay in MMOs to be more fun.
That's one of the reasons why I had a lot of fun in New World back in the day, is because, like, I just started the game, and it's like, yeah, I had, like, viewers on the server, but, like, I made my own friends, too. And I think that, like, being able to make your own friends and exist in a world where, like, everybody starts off on the same spot, back in the day, it was like a year and a half, it was like 2 years ago. It's a while ago, man. Shit.
And the smaller, bubbled social elements of, you know, classic WoW as it is now.
Yeah.
And I know people are going to be saying, well, I don't like PvP, and honestly, open world PvP is very boring. Well, it's not all about open world PvP. The open world itself is more challenging. There's open world challenging elite group content. I have no idea why.
I would say it is open world high level elite content. But look at this dude. He's level 48. Is he 48? Like, what do you mean? How's he 48? Oh, no, it's a mage. Like, what level is he? How the fuck do I even know what level? How the fucking level is he? What level is he? I don't even know what level he is. It doesn't even say. Where does it say what his level is? The fuck? He's 40. He's too... No, he wouldn't be 40, because if he was 40, it would be a skull. He's 51? Nah, bro, that's Artem. That's a pet. Or that's another guy in his party or some shit.
Either removed the elite quests in TBC. I mean, they kept a few, but they're normally only like kill this beast or this boss, and that's it.
Whatever.
So, you know, I'm talking about things like Dunga Rock, Stormguard Keep, Pyrewood Village, Stonewatch Keep, these castles, these haunted villages, which are dominated by elite enemies. You very simply cannot solo these quests.
No.
These quests require at least 3 to 5 players, preferably 5, since the content is very, very challenging. These quests provide a stopping block for the solo player. The solo player can't progress on these quests. If you want really good XP rewards and good loot, you have to either make a group or join another group to complete the content. Whereas in TBC, these zones became more or less soloable, preferably two-manable, but the mobs aren't elite anymore. Some elite quests and group quests remained after TBC, but like I said, they're only small ones. And then in retail, they're practically non-existent, to the point where you can very easily level to the max level entirely on your own. Actually,
I don't think that's a bad thing. I do think that you should have to... Like, leveling with people in a group in an MMO probably should be a better idea. I liked how in vanilla, there were quests that if you got together in a group, you could do them in a group, but not solo. Yeah, I don't think that having to group up is a good thing. I mean, not having to, but like having options where it's advantageous is good.
At this point, you can actually solo dungeons because there's so many heirlooms in the game. These elite areas were essentially open-world dungeons. They could sometimes take a good hour or two to complete and get all the quests done. It felt like a proper adventure, and for me personally, it's one of the most fun things you can do in World of Warcraft, because it's fun doing a dungeon, obviously, and then add to the mix of that the potential for PvP skirmishes along the way, especially in that Stormguard Keep in Arathi Highlands. I mean, I have very fond memories of getting into loads of scraps in that area, and obviously there's an area where the Alliance are kind of...
I think that, like, getting into scraps is always fun, right? I mean, like, you go in there, you get your ass beat, you go back, you beat their ass, maybe you get your ass beat again, maybe you have to wait, you know, it is what it is. I think that's good. It's a rough and tumble life. The problem is whenever, like, the game gets played out to the point where people are just camping dead mines. They're just like, they're sitting there camping dead mines and they're level 60 and they have Bloodfang. It's like, okay. Okay, so this is the game now. This is what you do. So that's what the problem is like, it's like most of the spontaneous world PvP, I would argue probably adds more flavor than it takes away. But the problem is that there's a lot of griefing that happens that makes it unfun for casual players that have limited time to play the game.
Safe because they have mobs that are neutral to them, and we have to, as a horde player, go into that area.
Like, as a streamer, I cannot enjoy this because everybody's like, oh, that's Asmongold. Wait, let's go get it. You know, they're going to see me and notice it's like, oh, it's me, you're going to go kill me, right? But I think for an average player, it can add a lot of flavor.
Because we actually have quests in that area, so it's very, very challenging quest for the horde to do when there's alliance knocking about, so you actually have to make the effort to, well, kill the alliance.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know how I always used like Sword Art Online, like fucking, like Overlord, like these like games, it's like animes about video games as like a way to look at what people really want out of an MMO. Every single one of those games has open world PvP. Keep that in mind. Sword Art Online, open world PvP. Log Horizon, open world PvP. Outside of towns. Overlord, open world PvP. So yes, I do think that this is something that people like. It's just that no game has been able to break the problem of a handful of players ruining the experience of the rest of the player base.
Honestly, back in the day, when Season of Mastery launched, that's probably the most fun I've ever had in World of Warcraft when it comes to the leveling experience. Partly because, obviously, vanilla World of Warcraft leveling, as I'm talking about in this video, is infinitely superior, but
yes, it is.
It's too long. The average player is going to spend 7
It's too long to do it twice. It's not too long to do it once.
days playtime getting to max level, and this was much better in Season of Mastery because they boosted it by 40%. I'd even want it to be boosted a little bit more than that. I personally just think 7 days playtime is a bit too long for the leveling experience in this game, and I think it should be a little bit shorter because, like, leveling in vanilla feels really fun 1 to 30, and then after that, because the questing zones do drop in quality, it does start to feel much like a drag. And this is the reason why, this time round, I'm actually playing vanilla differently. I'm not going to rush to level 60. In fact, I don't actually care about getting to level 60 at all. I don't want to do the endgame content because I don't really like the endgame content of vanilla that much, to be honest. I'd be happy sticking around level 30 to 40, getting the best gear that I possibly can, and then focus on just enjoying this open world content, the elite questing areas, but mainly, obviously when I run out of those quests to do, it's going to be the open world PvP. I am going to be really, really happy just running around a contested area, getting into 1v1 fights on my hunter. Because for me personally, I think this
He's gonna like that till he goes up against like a fucking warlock or some shit. Then we're gonna see what's gonna really happen. Yeah.
what I enjoy the most about vanilla WoW. Because, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of vanilla endgame. I don't think the raiding is its strongest element. So I'm going to play the...
I think that the social aspect of raiding is its strongest element. Raiding itself, killing Gar, nah. Not very fun. Getting Thunder Fury is fun, though.
The game the way that I actually want to play it, instead of pressuring myself to rush to 60 and get ready for raids like most people do. I can play endgame raid content in Wrath Lich King, you know, because it's better. But Vanilla WoW has the better low-level open-world content, so I can peacefully enjoy both of these MMO aspects by playing both versions of the game at my own pace. I feel like World of Warcraft players have too much of a conforming and future-obsessive mindset. Okay, what I mean by that is, first of all, WoW players, they obsess over what most players are doing.
This is very true. Like what he's saying, this is 100% facts.
Players are playing. And what is the point in playing my character if I won't still be playing it in 20 years from now? Instead of just chilling and enjoying the moment and enjoying how you like to play the game.
That's why, like, whenever I was playing on the fresh servers, I didn't really go super hard. I leveled pretty fast, but I just pretty much leveled at my own pace and Went through it, had fun, and it was good.
Anyway, guys, that's going to end it there. Be sure to check out my second channel. I'm going to do some news updates and just basically cover the new Harry Potter game because I'm very, very interested in that game. Obviously not going to put that on the main channel. I'm going to put it on the second channel. So be sure to check that out for loads of videos about the new Harry Potter game, Hogwarts Legacy.
So fucking annoying.
Anyway, my name is Metagoblin. Until the next video. Ciao.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty important conversation. It brings up a lot of good points here, and I think some of them are true. In general, I do think Vanilla WoW does have very much more an emphasis on the story. Or, sorry, the world, I mean to say. So, example of this is like in Vanilla WoW, the world is Azeroth and the Eastern Kingdoms. In Burning Crusade, it's Outland. In Wrath of the Lich King, it's Northrend. That's it. That's the only thing you do. And I do think the problem, though, is that whenever I think about like a lot of the open world encounters that I had in WoW, in Classic WoW, they were 99% world buff related. So how do you have something and make something compelling like world buffs without having it be meta defining? Like, I feel like at a certain point, maybe world buffs weren't a bad thing. And this is what I had said before. I don't really think that world buffs were bad. If you go back, you even watch like what I talked about with the Season of Mastery, is I thought world buffs made the raids fun. Like being able to blow up Flame Gore or something like that in 17 seconds. That's pretty cool. Just nerf them? No, because then it's not as fun. Like, here's what they should do with world buffs. If they ever do a Season of Mastery 2, they should make the world buff give you an item that goes in your inventory, and you can use the item, and it's unique. So you can't just stack up like 50 of them. So you have to continuously do it regularly. But you use one of them, and that's it. You don't get the Chrono Boon Displacer was shit. It was a shit idea. It was not a shit idea. It was a better idea that they've ever had, but it's still a shit idea. Kind of like Mojo's? Yeah. Exactly like Mojo's. So let me explain it. So basically, you could only hold certain types, like the Chrono Boon, it took all of your current buffs. So you had to have every single buff at the same time and then store them, right? I'm pretty sure this is how it worked. That's annoying. You could buy multiple, release, and reuse. I don't remember exactly how it worked. I didn't know that you could do that. I just wish that I think that the best solution, this is all I want to see them do. I don't remember doing that, at least. All I want to see them do is just add in, make it a consumable item that gets looted to your inventory. Just do that, because world buffs make the raids better. I do genuinely think they make the raids better. I don't think that making fucking Ragnaros take 7 minutes and 150 gold worth of consumables makes the fight better. I don't think so. I think the fight sucks. All the fights suck. Let people get the buffs and blow up the bosses. Yeah, I think I watched so many speedruns back in the day with like Classic WoW. Consumables grind was worse than world buffs. Yeah, they suck dick. Big dick. It's awful.